Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio. Today we're excited to welcome back Lisa Evans. She's been on our show through the International Food, Wine, Travel Writer Association shows that we do, talking about Mississippi, coastal Mississippi in specific. Lisa is a freelance travel journalist. She's a photographer and she's an author. She's been on our show talking about her book, which she has out through Reedy Press, and I encourage you to go get it. It's called 100 Things to Do in Coastal Mississippi Before You Die. And I know that there's more than 100 things, right, Lisa? Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah. So, I mean, putting that book together, I remember when you first came on the show, you were in the middle of writing it and it's going like, it's the editing out of things that was kind of the hardest thing, right?
Yeah, it was very interesting because although I live on the coast, I had done some of them, but I hadn't done all the things that are in my book. So it was really an experience going out and seeing and actually doing what, other locals or tourists or whomever do. It was really fun. It was time consuming, obviously, to experience the things and to write about them. And even though, each page is, just one short page on each item, but it was really cool getting to go to all and experience what the coast has to offer.
Yeah, now it's a beautiful area. One thing I know we've touched on before is you love history and you also love music.
I do.
So is that part of why you live in coastal Mississippi too? It's not just the awesome weather, it's that.
It is. I mean, the weather is a big part of it. I'm not going to lie. Although this summer has been very, very warm, although it's been warm everywhere. But yeah, there's a lot of history here, and a lot of it obviously is Civil War history. It was part of the Confederate States. But right down the road from where I live is the Beauvoir Presidential Library. So that's obviously dedicated to the Confederacy and things of that. So that's literally probably 5 minutes from where I live. Just all different kinds of history. And a lot of it I didn't know until I moved here. And then, of course, the music is, Mississippi blues. I mean, that is what it is. And we have the Mississippi Blues Trail, which, again, I mentioned in my book, and I've been to several of the markers, not only here on coastal Mississippi, but in Natchez and Clark's up in Clarksdale and Memphis. And it's just really interesting to visit the places and just hear the stories.
Yeah, I was thinking this morning before we started recording, I was like, well, I wonder if she's going to do 100 Mississippi blues sites you need to experience before you die. I'm just saying.
No, I don't. That hasn't come up. A couple other ideas have come up, but but the trail is just really, because not every trail marker is an actual physical. I mean, it's not a building, or there's just places like the crossroads up in that obviously has the crossroads that everybody has seen, but down here on the coast, it's basically, we have 100 Man Hall, which is a really cool place to go, but there's an old radio station, just different spots that had a significant influence and that influenced heavily the blues movement.
That's exciting to me. Like, I want to come back to Mississippi. As soon as the first time you're on the show, I'm like, God, I got to go back and hang out there. So I know you're going to be on a lot. We've got our new programming coming up through the last part of 2023 and into 2024. And we're going to be doing a lot of road trip radio shows, musical road trip shows, panel discussions on destinations. And we're going to have to put one together for you just on Canada, because I was like, she ventured out of Mississippi. I know you're from, back east, but you went to Canada, and I was following you on social media. And by the way, everyone, just for them to know, we've got Lisa's website link in the show notes, but you can go to writerlisa.com, a very good name there. And she's also at My Gypsy Travel on social media and 100 Things Coastal MS. But following you on Instagram and Facebook, I'm like, dude, she's having a really good time in Canada.
It was wonderful. Like I said, I've been to, like many people I've been to Canada, I've been to Toronto, I've been to Niagara Falls, but it's been many years and things like that. But this trip, I went to St. John, which is right on the Bay of Fundy, and the encompassing area. There's tons of little village, little cities all along, and the outdoor, the nature, the scenery is just fabulous. It's like
Mm.
stunning. I mean, I live in coastal Mississippi, so we look at the tides, when high tides, when's low tide, just as a casual thing. I've never been to a place that literally their lives basically revolve around the tides, because they have 2 high tides and 2 low tides every day. So I went to an island that you can only get to, and you can only stand for a certain number of hours, because you have to literally drive across the floor of the ocean, of the bay, to get there, and then you have to get off in time, because the other hours you can't get there or off. So it
Wow.
was so cool. I kayaked to an island that's literally, I could see from my hotel room in St. John, but I was able to kayak there, and it's an uninhabited island, but it was they used to keep an immunity. It was like kind of an Ellis Island kind of thing. That's where they would take you. I met with a First Nation storyteller. It was just so cool.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I love it, because I know you love history, so that's part of your writing, and then also the outdoors and nature. So,
Oh yes.
we're all connected here. If you've got blues and nature and history, like, what more do you want, right? Wine. I want wine. And bushwhackers. The last time you were on the show, we were talking
we
about
talked about
bushwhackers.
bushwhackers. We did.
No, I couldn't stand up after that.
Yeah,
But
they're deadly. They're
fun
powerful.
and fun. But yeah, I mean, when you travel, I mean, getting into travel writing, what was it for you? Was it like, hey, going to experience the sites, like the history? Like, what for you is the first thing that attracts
Uh,
you to a destination?
Well, you know what? And I remember in high school I really enjoyed, creative writing and all that. But of course, I think I've told you this before, life gets in the way. You get married, you have kids, you do all this kind of stuff. Well, my kids are all grown now. And I just started writing, I took a couple of courses, and I was like, you know what, this could be cool. It actually started out as my retirement plan. I figured it would be my side gig for a while, and it'll be my retirement plan. I love to obviously travel, go learn new things, see, and of course, history has I've always been interested in history. So, they always say, find what you like and do it. So that's kind of how it all evolved. And when I was, I wrote article about where I came from in New York. So I have a couple of articles about upstate New York, or central New York. I shouldn't call it upstate, because people in New York City think Yonkers is upstate, but central New York. So I have a couple articles about the history in central New York, and just beautiful, a mountain in Old Forge, and those are my early ones. And then it kind of just evolved there. Then of course COVID hit, so pretty much I wrote about my local. That's how I got into really digging deep into the coastal Mississippi area, because obviously you couldn't really travel anywhere, and we still wanted to get outside, and outside was always safe. So that's how we started going different places in coastal Mississippi and learning. And then from that, the book evolved, and other articles evolved, and it's just fun. It's fun learning, going and seeing new things, meeting new people, writing about them. So maybe sometime down the road, somebody will want to go there too. It's like Canada's, when I went to Canada recently, it was the perfect thing. I'm not a science geek, I was never big on science. One of the big things in St. John is the Stonehammer Geopark. And I was like, okay, what's that? Well, I'll tell you what, I saw fossils that were literally 1 billion years old. There was the reversing falls, which is literally the river overflows the the Bay of Fundy, and it's just beautiful. There's a place in there where there are literal verified rocks from 3 continents back to when Pangea, when it was a supercontinent. It was just, and so I
you
never
got
had so much,
you
I never had so much fun learning about science and geology. It was great.
But isn't that it? It's like, we get to, like, even with music, right? We get into this habit of loving certain songs, and then we play them to death,
Yep, exactly.
And then it's like, oh, you have to open your mind a bit to get, because you want the new music, but there's that, you have to cross over. Like for us, we're completely always in somewhere different. And now that's become a comfort zone. So it's kind of like to sit, you know what I mean? So now, like, if someone said, okay, you're going to sit put in one place for a year, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know how.
I don't know how to do that. It's like, well, that's how I kind of got introduced, into blues music. exploring down here in coastal Mississippi, the ties to the Blues Trail, and then you start listening to it, and then Clarksdale is several hour drive from where I live, so basically that you got you into the mood and you listen to the blues. Now I think the only thing on my Sirius radio, other than my occasional 80s music, is the blues station, the BB King blues station, and that's pretty much what's on Sirius radio in my vehicle. It's
You
just
see, but that's it. I mean, you go down rabbit holes. I mean, sometimes Nancy and I should just call Big Blend. We want to say just be Big Rabbit Hole Radio because because it's you get stuck into things and you get excited, and then it's like, and then just as you're like, okay, man, I'm going full steam on one of you can't just be one thing because
No,
everything is connected.
you have
And
to
when you
explore.
travel, yeah, you explore, you open your mind to things, and you want everyone, like, don't you want to start beating pots and pans? Like, you've got to come here and see what I
Yes.
just saw.
Yep,
You know,
I actually I do, because I mean I literally I have so many story ideas in my head from the things that I saw that I never even knew about or thought about, and that's one of the benefits of being able to travel and then being able to write about it, and hopefully somebody reads it and wants to go there too.
yeah,
That's the
that's what we
point.
want. That's
That's
the
the
whole point, is
point.
to get someone there, and it's exciting when you see people do go and that they are having a, a
Mhm,
similar exciting experience of like, oh wow, dude, check this out.
mhm.
It's like when you're in a hotel or a bed and breakfast and you have that meeting time with the other guests. And everybody starts sharing what they have been seeing and doing in the region. It's like, oh, you didn't see this? Well, you got to see that. And it's so cool to hear those conversations going, be part of those conversations, but to hear the excitement of people exploring and, finding out new things. And there's a different level of education. There's this,
There
you,
is.
you hear people being excited about learning. When I was in school, I didn't think I was going to be that
I
excited about
I
learning.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I remember going to like cities like Memphis and Nashville on my, Blues Trail little thing, and you only have a set number of days, whatever that set number is. And every place you go, oh, have you gone here yet? No, I haven't. And you don't find the time for it because you have a set schedule for what you want to accomplish in those 4, 5, 6, whatever number of days it
Mhm.
is. But then you make a list of all the things you have to go back and see, because I can't tell you, we go to a restaurant and somebody say, oh, have you seen this? No, where is that? And you'd hear about it and you're like, oh man, why did I go see that? But you just
You
have to
can't.
find the time. That's when you wish you were independently wealthy and could just, go anywhere and do anything whenever the mood hit you.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, that's what you understand why we're on the road full time. But
Exactly.
we keep saying, people are like, well, haven't you been there before? I'm like, but we've never. I was talking that to some friends the other day. I said, every time, even if we, like, right now we're in Asheville when we're recording this, right?
Mhm.
And we keep coming to Asheville, but every single time we come, it's a different season. There's a different road. There's a different park to experience, and
Mhm.
you're also learning about a region. You start to understand the birds. You start to understand the plant life, which is different than, if we were back in Arizona. So
Mhm.
it's, to me, there's this never ending excitement of new stuff. And then you have to write about it and you're like, oh, but now I want to include this. And I didn't, that's the hard thing.
Right.
You know that
When you run out of your set number of words, you're like, oh, but I forgot to. So then you have to
this,
go back or you have to write another one about it. It's like,
yeah, or you haven't done all of it. Like, you want to
mhm.
do, like, you want to do the 100 things in one place, but going in, there's the word yet. Do you use that a lot? Like, the word,
Yeah, I
haven't
have
gone there yet.
there's a number. The more I travel, the more places I find I want to go visit more. I'm going to go to St. Augustine in
Sweet.
Florida in a few weeks, and of course
Awesome.
that's the old, talk about history. St. Augustine's got it.
The
So
oldest city in the state.
and
Yeah, in the
and
country.
and music. I mean, I'm going to
Hmm.
go to a festival there while I'm there, so I'll get to experience some of
Ooh.
that too. So that'll be really, because again, I've been to Florida, many cities in Florida, never been to St. Augustine, so it'll be really cool just for
I
the
heard there's
history.
ghosts. There's ghosts and
I'm going on
pirates.
a ghost tour.
You are? Oh my
I
gosh. Okay.
I
All right. So, we're going to have to do a Halloween special now, right?
I'm trying to think there. I'm staying in a historical B&B. We're doing music. We're doing some of the historical sites. There's a music festival, and I'm only there for want to say 4 or 5 days. So it's, yeah. And so I'm sure that that's going to be another one. Oh, but you got to go see this. And I'm like, oh, I don't have time this trip. So
Yeah.
that's,
It
but a
is.
ghost tour, a kayak tour, walking
Ooh.
tours. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff. I'm doing a food tour. So I got everything.
Well, I love that you're putting kayaking in there. So
I love,
have you
yes.
always been kayaking?
No, actually, no. It's probably only been it's literally only been since I've been on the coast. So it's been within the last 10, 11 years. But, I just know I never got into it until I moved to the coast. And there's so much, obviously, coastal Mississippi it's the coast and it has all the bayous and everything. And I remember the first time going, I was like, wow, why haven't I done this before?
Right.
When I was in Canada, I did two kayak trips. One of them over to a rock in the river where you see the fossils that are 1 billion years old. And then the other one was the kayaking to Partridge Island. So, we're doing like I said, a kayak trip in Florida. And I think I'm actually scheduled on a research boat tour, an eco tour too. So I got a lot packed into those few
Well, this
days.
is a really sad life you're leading. I'm just saying.
That's what I
But we
said. I
do.
wish I was independently wealthy so I could do it all the time.
I know, but would you still write too? Because I feel it's really hard to travel without it being part of the documenting experience of getting, you know what I mean? I don't know if I could travel and not do anything with what I'm
Oh, I
experiencing and
agree with you.
learning.
Yeah, because you get so excited. I mean, I'm not going to say that there's not places that I've been to and went, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
But
sure.
but for the majority of it, it's always been, oh my God, I want other people to come here and see this, and that is where that ties into the writing.
Yeah, exactly. Because no matter what, you want everyone social media helps with that because
Yes.
you like, it's like instant, like, check this out, man. And then all of a sudden, if you leave it for a day, you're sitting there going, how many pictures can I really put up?
Oh my, I can't even tell you how many pictures I have from Canada. It's like, okay, people are going to get really tired of, I mean, I have so many. That's one of the things when I travel, I have a problem with. I take like so many pictures. It's not a problem, but it just, I come back and I'm like, wow, did I really take that many pictures?
Well, I had to get past like definitely the pictures, and I use that as my actual research because sometimes you get the signs, that if there's one sign or a plaque that explains things, that's going to be accurate than something on, some site online. The online stuff is iffy. So when you're there, you need to get what you can because whoever made that sign, historians had to all put their purple stamp on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever may be wrong has been kind of duked out already. But online, all kinds of crazy stuff can happen. You can't really do
Right.
you've got to be really careful, especially with history. And
Yeah,
everybody
and that's
argues, so it's hard.
one of the good things about the Mississippi Blues Trail is they have markers, and I mean they actually have an app that you can have on your phone. So when you get a marker, you can check in, but it tells you everything about who that's about and what. And obviously, like you just said, it is obviously historically correct. It has to be.
It's
But
awesome.
yeah, every marker has a story, front and back, pictures. It's really cool.
Man, I know. Now I'm itchy feet. Like it's time to go back to Mississippi. Every time you come on a show, I'm all like, I gotta go back. I gotta go back.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it
okay.
literally starts on the coast, goes all the way up through, the Delta into Memphis, into Natchez, and obviously there's places that might not be on the Blues Trail, i.e. Tupelo, where Elvis was born, but they have a little thing that Elvis was born here and kind of thing because he was a big influence on the blues. So it's things
Yeah.
like that that are really interesting.
So there's Tupelo honey, and that's a real deal. Like the Tupelo honey, like when you can smell it. Like
Yep.
I've been in a bayou where you can smell it from the trees, and I was like, "What is that smell? It smells like honey." Then I don't know if I heard it on a podcast or something, but something was like, "No, this is the actual Tupelo honey smell, and you only get it like at a specific time of the year in a specific kind of region, and
Well,
that's
it's
awesome."
kind of, if you stop and think about it, and this I, talked about when we were going up the Blues Trail into like Clarksdale, and the drive-through is basically like agriculture. But stop and think
Hmm.
about the Mississippi River and all the ingredients and all the soil and how rich that soil is, and in different areas of the river as you go up, it's obviously you grow. That's why northern Mississippi is such a huge agricultural, place, because stop and think, the soil from the Mississippi River, you can't get much better than that.
How important also do you feel like what you're doing about coastal Mississippi with all the hurricane activity that's been happening everywhere and storms? I mean, Nancy and I've been through a gazillion this year and last year too, and there's wildfires. I mean, we're going through a lot of that stuff, but Mississippi's been through a
Yes.
ton. It's important to keep people understanding, what's open, to not drop it off the radar, and also not to be scared to go to places.
Well, that too. You know what? No matter where you are, Mother Nature's going to get you from somehow. Up in the Northeast where I was born, it's snow and cold. Every year, you're going to get snow and cold and ice and freezing temps. Down here, it's going to be beastly hot. And you know what? You're in the path of hurricanes. Go to the Midwest, you're in Tornado Alley.
Just did that.
Out west, you've got, the
Monsoons,
fires
droughts.
and earthquakes and things like that. So no matter where you go, there's going to be something. It's just a matter of how prepared you are. And, and the way I look at it is we just celebrated recently I think it's the 18th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, which devastated coastal Mississippi. I mean, it like devastated it. But the resurgence and the rebuilding now, it forced people to change laws. Now there's certain laws where you have to have a certain type of structure, and it just, while the devastation is horrible, it makes you stop and go, hey, wait, well, maybe we need to do this, and this. And, it brought about the storm, back then, I think 18 years ago, I don't think anybody, storm surge, they thought wind and rain. Nobody thought about storm surge. Well, guess what? The storm surge that came in from Katrina, blew away. I think it was 20, 30 feet. It was humongous. So that devastated in its own right, everything. So now they have surge warnings to tell people, you know what, if you're in low-lying areas, you might want to move.
Yeah.
But it's anywhere you live, you're going to have something. It's just, you got to pick your poison and decide what you want to do and what else is in the area that interests you.
And now we have smart technology, smartphones and apps that tell you things, and you still need to use your judgment, because even we were just in some tornado weathers and all kinds of crazy storms. I mean, I almost got zapped by lightning, which was pretty funny. But I mean, it wasn't, but it was.
You don't mess with Mother Nature.
No, you don't, but you stay aware, and you need to use common sense and not always just rely on what the weather may tell you either. Because if you feel like if the weather is doing something different than what they're saying, it's doing something, you need to go with that. So I just feel like, be aware of where you're going, know what be aware, and always travel with water and wine.
Gotta have the wine. Well, that's hurricane parties, but
yeah, exactly. But I love the way you said that we celebrated the 18th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, where other people go, oh, we observed it, and it's and it is devastating. People did lose lives, and animals lost lives, and it did do devastation. But we learned from these things, and I think the biggest lesson of nature is to work with her instead of against her. And I'm seeing I think we're getting better, not maybe quick enough, but we are getting better, I think, in understanding.
And like I said, as you said, you have to be aware, you have to know. But now if you look at coastal Mississippi, if somebody was here 25 years ago versus the landscape now, there's a remarkable difference. But it brought in a lot of, we have, I think it's 12 casinos here on the coast. Casinos are a for-profit business. And most of them, their parent companies are in Vegas. So some number cruncher in Vegas is going, hey, it's worth it to go down there. So, now is everybody going to take a hit now and then because of the weather? Sure they are. But so are they in California or Vegas or Florida or wherever the case may be. So, I mean, we have so much new development and so many new things. I remember before I moved to coastal Mississippi, I'd visited several times, and there wasn't much for families. It was more of an adult kind of playground. Now there are so many things for kids to do. So it's more family friendly. When you vacation, you can bring your family. It's not just, hey, let me grab my husband and let's go play for a few days. You can bring your family because there's things for them to do. 25 years ago, there was there was stuff, but it was very limited. Now we have all kinds of things for the family. So it's evolved to become a much more family friendly place. Now casinos are still here, evident. And if you're a couple and want to come play, great, no problem. But families can also come and join.
You can split up too.
Yes,
That's where for multi-generational travel too. And
Yes.
that's what we're seeing. That and travelers do want an authentic experience, no matter the
Correct.
age. It really isn't just boomers want this and the young people
Right.
want that. Actually, everybody seems to want a genuine experience.
And I
And
believe I heard on the news recently that 2023 is the largest travel year, like for like years and years, as far as the number of people traveling.
yeah, after COVID, everybody's like, let's get out. And it's different. It's for those who are in the industry, like, running a bed and breakfast or a restaurant, hotels, that kind of thing. It's like people are doing last minute bookings. Some are, midweek is busier sometimes than compared to a weekend. It's all over the place. But the
Yes.
most important thing is it's happening.
Right. People are
That's the most important.
going and doing different things. So, and they're bringing
Oh.
the kids and they're bringing grandma and grandpa, and, they're realizing that because your family, like my family, is scattered all over the United States. So it's nice that every year or so we can get everybody together, perhaps in one spot. And that's, obviously you going from grandkids to new, toddlers, and multi-generational is a big thing. I mean, we did it last year in the mountains of Tennessee, and it was really cool. Everybody, we were all together like in the evenings for dinner, but during the day we all split up, went different things, and did, every now and then, we went to Dollywood as a group, which was really pretty cool. Dollywood's a really good place to go if anybody's looking for an amusement park. It's not just for kids, it's really cool. But that we did that as a family activity. But on other days, one group went here and another group went there, and some of us just stayed at the cabin. So it was, that's, I think, what more people are doing.
That's awesome though. Yeah, everybody wants to reconnect,
Mhm.
friends and family. So okay, what's on your bucket list for the next 5 years to go to is destination
The
wise?
UK, England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales is a biggie. That's my goal. I'm doing my best to get there in 2024. We'll see what happens. Italy, I want to go to Italy. I'd love to go to Greece. As far as the US, I'd like to go to the West Coast. That's one. I mean, I've been a lot of places in the Midwest and the East Coast, but I haven't been to a lot of places on the West Coast.
Okay.
I always used to say no to Alaska, no to Alaska, no to Alaska, but I see so many beautiful pictures and hear so many stories. So, who knows, that could be, but I think if I ever went to Alaska, it would be on a cruise, because I hear that's the best way to go.
Yeah, I'm still kind of wanting to drive in. Like that's a
That
big
would be
adventure.
that would be an epic road trip, I think.
Epic. I think it would be like the whole Trans-Canadian Highway would be like a cool
Yeah,
trip,
that would,
right?
you could start. I mean, and I do, like, there's some places in Central America, like I'd love to go to Belize.
Ooh.
I think that was beautiful. Dominican Republic, I've heard, is gorgeous, even somewhere as close as the Bahamas. I've never been to the Bahamas. So, I mean, there's so many places.
The Bahamas are fun. We almost didn't get back on our cruise ship on time because they kept giving us Bahama Mamas, and there was this really good band, and we're like, the ship can go. Then we're like, oh wait, we really don't have a way home. We better get on the ship.
Need to go.
We need to go. We barely made it on board, like really. And then, of course, we thought that was funny. So, anyway, it's all good stuff. It's always fun to chat with you, Lisa. We're excited for the next year of conversations with you. And everyone, writerlisa.com is the website to keep up with Lisa's adventures, and on social media at My Gypsy Travel, and also at 100 Things Coastal MS. And don't forget, her book is 100 Things to Do in Coastal Mississippi Before You Die. And that is through Reedy Press. And it's awesome. You got to go get it. And we're going to be talking with Lisa and many more of all these new panel chats and parties, because we like to have a good discussion, as you all know, here on Big Blend Radio. And we love to party. So, there it is. So everyone keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Lisa.
No problem.